All right, there. Dimensional active ETF share class. By the way, exchange traded funds, which is, another type of investment. They're doing very well on Wall Street. Bam, hit that. Bam, hit that gavel like you mean it, brother. What a day, folks. Dow up 1,100 points. 1,100, I said that right. S&P up 180 points. Big winner of the day. NASDAQ, 790, 800 points, which represents almost 4% move in one day. And that was because Trump this morning, Truth, saying, you know what, Europe, Asia, this is going to be your ball now. This little war we're doing right now, we soften them up for you. You take it from here. We're done with this. It looks like they may be done with it, maybe coming to a conclusion, at least our participation in it. So everything rallies. Of note, though, guys, oil still $102 a barrel in our U.S. West Texas Intermediate. Brent crude is still trading $118, over $118 in Brent. Massive disruption still going on in the Middle East. Alrighty, Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, says one of the main security achievements accomplished by her, apparently, is the reduction of homicides in Mexico. But she doesn't address the increase in missing people. The National Registry of Missing and Unaccounted For Persons lists more than 16,000 people between October 1 and 2024 when Sheinbaum came into office in February 1, 2026. Here to discuss our own RAV border correspondent, Oscar Ramirez. Oscar, however, that number jumped to 17,500 missing persons in a couple of months since Sheinbaum took over. Of note, 17,000 for Felipe Calderon for 6 years. So Sheinbaum has already had more missing persons in Mexico than Calderon did in 6 years. Are they just turning homicides into missing people? Is that what they're doing to kind of hide the truth?
Well, America, this is, and thank you so much for the invitation, Eric. America, this is your neighbor. This is how secure Mexico supposedly is. And under the pressure of Donald Trump, Sheinbaum is doing whatever it takes to just create this biggest smokescreen to make everybody think that everything is okay in Mexico when it's not. Under Felipe Calderon, on the 6 years of his government, 17,000, almost 50 people went missing. Under a year and 6 months of Claudia Sheinbaum, Eric, 17,500 people. And she's being questioned consistently on every morning conference, on her presidential morning conferences about this. She continues to just escape away from the questions. She continues to just run away from the questions because she cannot even answer. She was asked the other day, Javier Milei from Argentina designated the CJNG cartel as a terrorist organization. And her answer was, well, we're not going to talk about that. We're just not going to talk about that. The CJNG cartel, it is the main source of missing people in the parts of Guadalajara, in the parts of Mexico City, in the borders that are next to the United States of America. Get to know these people. A lot of the people that they are missing, they're binational citizens. They're citizens that they're from the U.S., citizens that they're from Mexico. They're dual citizens. This is your neighbor. This is how insecure it is Mexico. And this is the idea, the ideological, platform that she's trying to say to everybody that Mexico is safer now, that she's trying to do something against the organized crime.
Oscar, you were on the show, a wonderful segment piece you put together. You were in El Mencho's camp right after he was assassinated, right? And people love that. It was wildly fascinating, wildly dangerous for you, by the way, my friend. Please be careful. But we noticed, is this true that the son of the murdered El Mencho cartel honcho, the son is a California-born man who is now taking over the cartel?
That is strategically the CJNG cartel designated his son as, the next leader of the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación. This a guy by the name of Valencia, better known, and he was quite of a leader in some segments and won spaces in the part of Mexican territory. But now he has been designated as the leader of the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación. It's going to be strategically for the CJNG, that, in territory of Mexico. They say that it's quite fascinating what they did. And I'm saying fascinating because they cannot go after a U.S. citizen as they want to go after a foreign terrorist organization or a designated terrorist organization.
Why not? I mean, I really, because if it's an American-born citizen, they lead a bloody militarized cartel, murderous militarized cartel in another country. We can't go after them as they are terrorists of the world?
Because he has his American rights. and he can exercise his American rights. And strategically, the CJNG put this man as a leader because you're taking advantage of American laws. Mm-hmm. They know what they're doing. They're really smart. American people need to understand the cartel. It is not this organization with sombreros and revolvers. Mm-hmm. These people are engineers. They're doctors. They're strategically people that they are really well prepared. This is a business. And they know that this guy possibly, he's not in the front. He's going to create a lot of fracture in the infrastructure of the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación because it's not settling well with other leaders that they have been years and years and years under this organization, waiting for the opportunity to lead the organization. And it's not settling well. And it's possibly is going to separate some fractions. But for the organization itself, this is, for them, it's a great strategy to lead because they cannot, is an American citizen. He has his own rights. The CIA cannot go against him. They cannot investigate him fully, apparently, because he's an American citizen. That is the number one reason why they put him as a leader of the CJNG, Eric.
How long is this kid going to live? He looks like a young man. How long has he got? What's his estimated lifespan, would you say?
Well, I believe that, when you talk about El Mencho was not exactly the same as El Chapo and El Mayo. El Mencho, we never saw him on videos. We never saw him, on trending photographs. He was really a guy that took care of his image and never appeared nowhere. In comparison to El Chapo, that he was always, trying to flash his lifestyle, and also El Mayo trying to flash his ranches and all these places. El Mencho was really secluded, as exactly as this young man. So the strategy is almost exactly the same. And it looks like they're creating this image for people to understand that possibly he's the leader and possibly he's the one that is in charge, but we don't know who's behind closed doors, who's actually maneuvering and actually managing this. The most remarkable thing about this, Eric, it is that the Mexican government knows this. And on the funeral of El Mencho, they had the Secretary of Defense, basically protecting the funeral of El Mencho. Meanwhile, on this compound that I visited, It was wide open and it was a contaminated area, and they did not even have one municipal officer.
I remember you were picking up shell casings, large shell casings. Oscar, we got to go. This guy, Ruben Gonzalez, they're calling him El Menchito, 36-year-old new head of this very deadly militarized cartel in Mexico. Oscar, great reporting as always. Please be safe.
Thank you so much, Eric, for the invitation.
All right. Hey, folks, the Federal Reserve's latest survey shows banks are tightening lending standards, and many Americans are feeling the financial squeeze. How does this affect those buried in credit card and loan debt? Join me now to discuss Jillian Barbary. You know her from television, but what you may not know is she lived that life, that financial stress life herself. Jillian, great to see you. The Federal Reserve is warning that banks tightening standards. That really has a profound effect. And we thought interest rates were going to come down. Maybe they're not coming down because what's going on in the Middle East. This is more hardship onto the American family. Tell us how people can, survive this or navigate it at least.
Right around the corner. So, it is getting very hard, as you were mentioning, oil prices for day-to-day living. A lot of people, a lot of Americans are living under this dark cloud, I like to call it, that causes so much anxiety because financial strain isn't just about numbers. It's also about your mental strain. And so people ask me, what's the number one thing that I can do before anything else? And I always say, before paying another bill, just go to donewithdebt.com. And the reason I say that is because it's not just that they're a team of professionals, your own basically accounting firm that will work for you on behalf of you and contact the banking institutions and the credit card companies, but they go and look at the testimonials that the people have written themselves. These are real people that have been affected, whether you've got $5,000 in debt or $105,000 in debt. They're incredible. And what they'll do is, as master negotiators, they know what's happening behind the scenes. They'll work for you and get ahead of everything, put you back on a financial road that is to your benefit, as opposed to filing for bankruptcy or, say, one massive conglomerated loan, because as you know, Eric, that can be very problematic later on. It might seem okay at the beginning, but with all of those fees, and notwithstanding the fact that if you are in credit card debt, the fees that topple on top of one another. A lot of people like to just shove the, those bills in the drawer or the glove compartment and maybe not pick up the phone. They always call at those inappropriate times at dinner. People get afraid to open the letters. It's not, you're not alone. Put it that way. Yeah. Millions of Americans go through it. I was one of them. That's why I don't mind being the face of it, because it is such a hard time. And whether or not you have a massive lump of some, a nest egg for yourself, it could be things that happen in your life. For me, it was disease. I had breast cancer. Job loss, could be death. It could be divorce. So many things, right, happen in life that we don't, are predicting. We're just like living our day-to-day life, and things come up. And it can put you in that financial strain. So basically what Done with Debt will do is get you back on that financial track to financial freedom. And some people at the end of the day, at the end of the month, will walk away with a little cash in their pocket. And the good thing is that the relief starts right away. So let's say you go on and look at some of the testimonials and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna contact them. I'm gonna talk to them and see where this leads. Within 2 days, that's when the phone calls, the harassment stops, the letters stop coming into your mailbox, and they have already formed a plan for you.
Wow.
So yeah, they'll get you back on the financial, but also your mental state will start to just, you'll be present again, as opposed to being frantic and having anxiety nonstop.
Love the idea, Jillian. Love the idea of having maybe even a few bucks in your pocket after some negotiation with some of the people that you're kind of in debt to. This is a great idea. Folks can check this out, by the way. Jillian, thank you. Folks can check it out. Donewithdebt.com. Donewithdebt.com. Always thankful to Jillian Barbary and the folks at donewithdebt.com. Thank you both. Thanks, Jillian.
Thank you.
All righty, folks. Take a peek at this. All right, folks. 6 months in, we're almost 3 million views. We got almost 90,000 watch hours. We're going to get to 15,000 subscribers. We're almost there. I need you to help me out. I'll tell you what, when we hit 15,000, should be very soon, we'll take the last 5 people who leave comments in the comments section, and we're going to send you one of these cool Edge t-shirts right there. Again, leave a comment in the comments section. Be one of the last 5 that once we hit 15,000, and you're going to get a t-shirt. Also, you got to be a subscriber, so do it now.